Get ready to drop the puck, take a free throw, and step up to the plate. It's time for the Metro East Sports Podcast on lineupmedia.fm.
From the Lineup Media Studios, welcome to the Metro East Sports Podcast, season number 2, show number 23, recorded Monday, June 21st, 2021. A lot of 21s in there. Thanks to partners Cassins & Sons, Callaway Home Loans, Keller Williams Marquee, Jeb and Ginger Blasting Game. Do I have the date wrong?
28th.
Today's the 28th.
Yes.
All right. I'm not even going to edit that out. Today's the 28th of June, 2021. I got to remember to change the date every time at the start of that show. Thank you, Evan Potter, guest number 1, for helping me out already.
No problem.
Appreciate that. Thanks to partners Cassins & Sons, Callaway Home Loans, Keller Williams Marquee, Jeb and Ginger Blasting Game, and Integrity Spine and Joint Center. We're talking all things sports in the Metro East, even if we're not quite sure what day it is. I'm Dave Leip. As always, the guests make the show. Evan Potter, guest number 1, has already helped me out with the guests from O'Fallon Tennis. Joe Bauer, sticking with the Panthers, is the baseball coach at O'Fallon. They had an amazing season, 3rd place in state. He's going to join us, guest number 2. And guest number 3 is Mike Sanders, state champion, Belleville Althoff Catholic track, girls track, state champ coach with a couple of his superstars, Nariah Parks and Eris Nelson. 3 things you can do to help the podcast. Number 1, subscribe. It's free. Number 2, follow us in all of our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, Instagram. And number 3, if you have a story idea, email me, please, at mespdave@gmail.com. Last week's Integrity Spine and Joint Center question of the week: which school has an amazing trainer? Best email I got was from Ross Monterusso, who said Jack Edgar at Triad and James Seepich at Columbia High School. And I'm going to read quote from his email. Obviously, they're passionate about their teams, but when an opposing team needs help, they're right there. From a referee standpoint, they've helped me many times. I thought it was kind of cool that he talked about the fact that trainers at times are responsible for helping the other team's kids too, and that's a tough job. All right. We're going to shift directions with the Integrity Spine and Joint Center question of the week. We're going to shift it over for the next month, at least, to Integrity Spine and Joint Center Athlete of the Week. You can nominate an athlete by emailing me at mespdave@gmail.com or through our social media platforms. You can answer the question, who do you think should be the Integrity Spine and Joint Center Athlete of the Week? Guest number 1. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Panther.
you. Yes, sir.
Panther. Evan Potter. 2A Singles Player of the Year. Undefeated in the area in singles, right?
Yeah.
Awesome year.
Thank you. It was a good year.
And you missed your junior year.
I did.
Like
yeah.
everybody did.
Right.
So this year you had to have been thinking, man, I cannot wait to get out there.
I was so excited. Yeah, with COVID and everything, couldn't even get any tournaments in for the majority of last year. And then I hurt my ankle, so I was just dying to play for about over 2 years now. So
You hurt your ankle.
yeah, I had I was training in St. Louis for a while to get ready for this season, and I had a high ankle sprain in my left ankle.
Turned it?
Yeah, pretty bad. While I was playing, and I think it took like a couple months until it was completely fine again. But it was just a little bump in the road. I was able to keep training after that in St. Louis, and I got back to where I wanted to be before season. So
You came a long way during your career.
yeah, I did. Even since sophomore year, I think I took a big leap in my game after that season, and I kind of figured out, how to win, which was a big thing that took me a while to learn.
You came in as a talented left-hander. I remember watching you play maybe one of your first matches at EHS, and I thought, yeah, this kid's pretty good. And you have some relatives who live in
Olney?
Yeah. Who live here, who I was sitting there talking to them, and they mentioned that you guys were related, and I was like, yeah, he's a nice player. He's a good player. And then I watched your career go upward throughout the years, and I think your whole body has changed, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a totally different person. That made a huge difference in your game too.
Yeah, I think I grew about 10 inches maybe or more from freshman year to now. So, I mean, that definitely helped also.
And I understand that you swam this last year too.
I did. I swam junior year. I had a couple of friends that convinced me to do it. And that definitely got me in way better shape than I was before. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Were you a swimmer before?
I used to swim a while ago. I swam from around 4th grade to 6th, and then I quit to focus on tennis. But I knew, like, all the coaches in the area. I was pretty good for my age group, and then everyone convinced me to join junior year. And I had a pretty good season. We got a couple medals in conference, so that was fun.
Cool. What strokes?
I was freestyle mostly. They put me in the IM a couple times, and I did not like that. So I focused on freestyle mainly, shorter distance. I was one of the sprinters. Made varsity, which was cool. Got to compete in conference and sectionals. And
Cool. Any other sports besides swim and tennis?
I play golf, not competitively, but I've been picking it up a lot more recently. I'm thinking about doing club in college as well as club tennis. I'll for sure be doing club tennis, but I'm considering golf as well. I love playing golf.
Let's talk about club tennis for a second, because a lot of people may not understand what that means. Club tennis, collegiately. What's club tennis?
It's not for the school's official team, but they still get a bunch of players together, and there's different skill levels and age groups and everything, and you can play players that are at your level or higher. It just sounds like a really fun time. You can still get a lot better.
But it's also not like just on the campus in Champaign.
Right.
They will fly you to
Yes.
to play all the teams in the Big Ten.
Yes.
I mean, it's a very competitive team with a lot of travel potentially involved. I would say it's still very competitive, like you said, at different levels. You'll still travel. It's co-ed, which is a lot of fun for the kids that play it. And I think it's the biggest difference is you don't have that daily commitment.
Yeah. Even if I were to be playing college tennis for a team, I think I wouldn't be looking forward to the amount of training that they have to do. It's like your job. And I think especially for me, I have to be focusing on my schoolwork because I'll have some pretty hard classes with my major. So it honestly works out better.
So you're going to study recreational sciences.
No, I'll be in the engineering program at U of I.
Yeah, recreational sciences isn't one of the majors where people say I got to give up sports
Right.
for my major. But yeah,
Right.
yeah, engineering. I knew that you were a smart kid, and I knew that you were going to study engineering at Illinois. So I was making jokes with you there. So well, good for you. What type of engineering?
Mechanical.
Good for you.
That might change though. I'm not too sure. I'm keeping my options open, but I think I'm set on engineering.
So how did you get started in tennis?
My dad taught me how to play when I was about 5, and I don't think I played tournaments until I was around 9 or 10.
Okay.
It started out with basically just me and my dad hitting at the park courts in O'Fallon, and took off from there.
But he didn't teach you those strokes.
He did teach me those strokes.
Really? The whippy,
Oh.
wristy, lefty forehand, like he taught you?
Dominic taught me those strokes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because you don't have the strokes that I would teach. You have a more modern game. You have the game that a lot of players develop into,
Mm-hmm.
because it is a very modern game.
Mm-hmm.
All the balls you hit. I think your game looks good, and I think your eyes and your hands are exceptional.
Yeah, I like to use touch not as much as I can, but I definitely love to have those shots in my bag. Drop shots, throwing different things in there every once in a while, I think is awesome when you're playing somebody, just to get in their head, keep them guessing so that they don't know what you're about to do.
Do you think you would get in my head?
I would try to. I think I might be able to.
I've been playing that game for way too long. You are not going to get in my head. You're going to beat me because you're fit and I'm not, but you're not going to get in my head. But
I think I could break down that wall.
You do.
I think I could.
I don't know. I've seen you play a lot, but I tell you what, I think you compete with a ton of class on the court, because you were player of the year in the conference and you won the sportsmanship award for the conference. So that says a lot about you. Congratulations on those awards.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think of who nominated you for the sportsmanship award. Oh, that's right. Now I remember. It was me.
Okay.
And so where does that come from? Where does the good decorum on the court come from?
It came from my dad. Growing up, I remember I was always just smaller than everybody I played, and I was so frustrated they'd hit the ball harder than me, and I would lose and lose and lose, and I'd sit in the car and I'd be crying with my dad, yelling at him. And he told me that it's one thing to win respectfully, but it's another thing to lose respectfully, and that stuck with me. And once I changed my attitude about losing, that maturity like helped me for when I'm winning. I know what it's like to be the other guy, so I just like to always be as respectful as possible when I'm out there.
Good stuff. I'm glad you brought up Dominic Macaluso. Did he help you
Yeah.
with anything else besides your strokes?
He did. He traveled with. Well, he didn't travel with me. He would have if I would have asked him. But he came to watch a lot of my matches growing up in tournaments, and he was practically my coach my freshman year. When he was a senior, he was my doubles partner. He was always telling me what I could do to get better at practice, and even when we're playing matches against other schools, I learned so much from him. And he definitely taught me my game now, my spinny, forehand kind of modern tennis game that I have. And then he also taught me a lot about mentality and winning. And
I thought it was cool he came back and helped coach this year.
I did too. It was a big help because me and Gavin really didn't have anybody to hit with at practice. And when he came, it was that next skill level that we needed to practice with. And it helped a little bit before state because we were already kind of used to the way those guys are hitting up there.
What will you remember about this tennis season?
I will remember my last match this season at state because that was just what everything led up to. And it was a loss, but it could have gone either way. It was a really close match, and I had a lot of fun playing it. And I just remember at the end of the match not being sad, but I was just happy with the way everything ended up. So, I mean, that's all I could really ask for.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you next year as a Fighting Illini.
Yes.
And you need to go out and check out some men's tennis matches and introduce yourself to Brad Dancer and the crew there at Illinois. I wish you would have played somebody on their team this last weekend in the Edwardsville Open.
Yeah, I was going to sign up for this tournament, but if I'm being honest, I've not touched a racket since state. So
I saw you play a little bit. And
yeah.
And you played well, and you played against two guys who give you a lot of coaching now, Hector and Juan Calero.
Yes. Yeah, Juan was there since last year. He, Mikhail, and Bishop started up the academy that me and Gavin went to for a while, and Hector's a new guy that they got, I think, a month ago.
And what's the name of that academy again?
It's the Academy St. Louis. That's the name of it. And they have those four guys coaching a lot of the SLU players and some MICDS players, and then me and Gavin are the only O'Fallon guys right now. They have some O'Fallon girls. They have Megan and Allie playing in it. They're trying to grow. So we recommended a couple of our lower classmen to try and go over there and see if they'll let them hit with them.
Evan Potter, MES MESP winner for 2A Singles Player of the Year, Southwestern Conference Player of the Year, Sportsmanship recipient. Thanks so much for coming by today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.